action opportunity. Actually, 4 of them are short. That's the state of this market. Oh no, wait, 5 of them are short, 1 of them is long. So that kind of gives us the state of the market right now. But let's jump in. Other housekeeping. I mean, really important here. What I'm doing here is giving analysis to the market. Certainly, I mentioned trades that I'm taking. None of this is supposed to be advice. Even though when I say here's this chart that I consider a short, doesn't mean you should short, or long, depending on what I'm saying. This is not advice. Also, housekeeping on top of it, this is more to subscribers. Yeah, guys, I put out a request thread, not thinking this is a public webinar. So all of your requests, I will cover sometime today. Some of them I picked out to go into the charts I'm reviewing today, so I won't cover those. But any requests that you put in, that again, I put a thread out and apologized already, but reminding you that I will post those today. However, I'm leaving the house at 1 o'clock Eastern time roughly, so the video may barely be up and charts probably won't. So I'll be back later today and I'll knock out those requests. So be patient with that. Yeah, so I'm trying to make this a little bit snappier, given that this is our public webinar. I know some of you guys are probably throwing questions in. I already see a bunch of questions. Hold off, and maybe I'll answer your questions as we go through it. You guys are just simply crowding the question box, making it hard for me to flow through. All right, so let's talk Bitcoin real quick. Again, if you have been in these for a while, I was looking for a long-term top around 125K. We certainly have, at least right now. The question is whether it is the top, or it is or we're going to take another go for higher into this yellow target box. That is a question that really, to me, is in the air. We'll see. Let's see. So, diving in, we've had a liquidation event happen in Bitcoin. A lot of people said, hey, liquidations get repaired, quite frequently. Right now, that has not been the case. We have a new lower low after post liquidation. A lot of damage was done to the market in that situation. In bull markets, liquidations get bought up. In bear markets, they're just a step in the process of a downtrend. Right now, it looks on the ladder, but we haven't broken any key support to say that we are in a bear market. I'm trying to think back to the previous public webinar, and I'm trying to update those that have come in, come in once a month for this free event. And what has changed drastically is that we have a large B wave rally, and that high and the indication of a B wave over gives us a pretty good probability that we get another go into 140K. However, for me to believe that, we've got to hold 98,900. Again, as usual, get a little breach, fine. Come back, fine. But we get a sustained breach under 98,900, then I will no longer expect another high. That said, I've held out 75,500 for many, many months, and that still really is confirmation that a bear market started. The problem is that that's way the heck down there, right? And it, to me, is untenable to hold a position, waiting for the bull market to confirm or unravel for that level low. So I have been flat for a while, largely. That was a good move so far. We are lower than my place, the region where I got flat as of today. And I definitely will spend a lot more time shorting into this drop over the last last week or so. So it's been a good week for me. In my main swing trading account is got like, I think 50 bucks of an almost dead meme coin, and the rest is cash. There's a tad bit of Bitcoin in there. Okay, that's where I'm at. I still own Bitcoin in a cold wallet, multi-sig, all that good stuff, which again, I intend never to sell, never to send, unless I'm in financial duress. Hopefully just give it to my kids. So I am flat largely, right? And that was a good move so far. We'll see. I'm watching now for a long setup to have a reason to get back in with any kind of aggressive trade. That is the question. we dive into this move. What is interesting to me about the last 24 hours is we have a potential triangle, which in this context could be a B-wave triangle for break up. I still need 5 waves over 112 or 111, 112 to suggest that we're on our way to 140. But it is interesting that we have a potential triangle here, which could be a precursor to the 3rd wave in a diagonal. A diagonal is by no means a very happy type of reversal. It is not quality. It is showing damage in the market. Further, the path down does not look complete to me. So I will be surprised by the diagonal, but a diagonal will cause me to get long. And I don't mean at 112, I mean on the pullback that happens after my diagonal completes. So that's something I'm watching for. At the same time, I have standing orders, and I'll show you this on standing orders on short as a stop, like a sell stop. And if you put this on 2 hours, I'm watching this fair value gap, which, you know, it's fair value gaps on the 2-hour time frame often are good entries, whatever the trend is, long or short. And right now we're sitting in the fair gap. So I have a stop sell on the bottom of the fair value gap to get short. So that would invalidate the triangle, the bullish perspective I gave you. So I'm looking at both. I need to think about the triangle, how I want to play it. I like trading triangles most of the time. Generally, it's a little bit better on a breakout. I'm not really breakout trading, so maybe force it. I'm also trading the breakout here on the long side, so I was talking 2 sides out of my mouth. So I need to decide what I want to do with that information personally, tactically. But anyway, until we get over 112, this downtrend is not abated. It's still a downtrend, and so you know, is it going to take us all the way down into 98K support or give us an early bottom? I don't know yet. And you know, again, mark my words, if we break under 98K sustained, that would be a big giant warning that this is a serious bear market starting, with again confirmation at 75,500, where all bets are off to me. I have actually, you know, this is bad on me. I did not prepare my long-term chart. There was some, they mucked with the Brave Coin index on TradingView, and I haven't been able to redo it. I just realized that, but just to spout off what I believe will occur if 75,500 breaks. I will be looking for longs in the 55K region to 30K region. That would be an early, I would view that as an early end to a bear market. That would be quite quick. But I also see the potential we drop into the 10K, even to 3K. That's a little bit outlandish, but that type of move would probably take a couple of years. I also, if it ends up being, if we end up getting below 30K 100, again, I expect it to be a larger degree bear market, but it can range between 30K easily and even 200K over the next couple of years. So a lot of people who don't think of it from an Elliott Wave perspective are going to say, okay, we have a bull market, so say 200 in the middle of it. That would not be strange to me, but I would still make it, I would still consider it part of the bear market range that happens over. It could be 2 years, 3 years, even 5 years. But people would look at it very differently from an Elliott Wave person. So that's, I've given that chart in the past. I'm sorry I didn't prepare it. You know what I'll do is I'll tweet it out so you guys can take a look at it. After I've got a chance to set it up. It'll take me a bit. I may not even get to it today. So that is where I am at with Bitcoin. I mean, so I don't know if I need to spout off the bottom line. We have a downtrend over 2 weeks pretty easily. Shorting has been the game. It's that's what we've done, or I've done, and any subscribers that have followed me, it's played out well. I'm flat right now, both long and short, but looking at what to do with this region here, I have a sell stop. It's at the 10, I think it's 107, 650. Maybe a subscriber can correct me, but it's at the bottom of the fair value gap, and it's basically the top of this wick right here, which formed the bottom of it. Again, that fair value gap has stopped price so far. But fair value gaps also invert. They're just points where the market needs to do business. They're nothing more than that. In trends, fair value gaps do work as trades, but then at some point in time, obviously, if trade's going to reverse, you got to take out a fair value gap on the other side. So I'm trading that. I mix that style with Elliott Wave to a degree. I try not to muddy the waters by thinking about both. But this diagonal, if we get it to 112, will have me favor another long, and I would undo that cash setting. Cash accumulated in my swing with a nice Bitcoin trade in that region. By the way, I'm not going to do a lot of altcoin reviews except for the ones that I am short and looking at getting more short. But I'm also largely flat in altcoins except for some of the stuff in my DeFi wallet. I've got to call out. I've got to go through those DeFi wallets and get some crap out. I'm going to keep some Solana. I am going to keep that tad bit of Ether that I've got in my Ether wallets. Really not much at this stage. I've got some BNB, I think, in my BNB wallet. So I'm starting that process of just going through the cold wallet or the DeFi wallets and deciding what I want to do. But in the bear market, I'm also do a lot of liquidity pool stuff to accumulate and all that. So some of that stuff won't go away. Just all the meme coin crap that is starting to die, it looks like, stuff like that. The stuff I'm more anxious about, not anxious, quote unquote, about, but none of that's big positions. So largely flat, a few adjustments to be made. And cash is a position at times, right? Strategic position at times. It burns a hole in your purchase power over time, but at times you've got to go to cash when the market is in an inflection point. And that's where we're at. Let's see. So let's go over Ether, then I'll look at questions, and then we can move on. Ether, you know, I've looked for 6,000 over the last many months, and this is the decision point right here. We have a potential wave 4 bottom, but it's not a reliable bottom. We have 3 waves off the low, which I'm marking as beginning of a diagonal, which is viable for a C25, but it's not quality and it's not reliable. And the good sign is so far is we've held the line here, which is 36.95, so 36.90, depending on the data you have. But this move off of it is not impulsive. So it really is not quality action we have here in Ether. Let's see if we can get it. If I get a good diagonal out of this bottom, I may trade this one to 6K. But yeah, right now I'm just watching and observing. Certain people that are more bullish than I am, they want to pick off the low because it's certainly a cheap price here. I have made good money in this bull market and I'm happy being flat. And yeah, sure, I'll miss some trades. 3370 is my pivot, and actually in this one is a very interesting chart because it's such a range bound chart. The very least breaking 3370 should send it back down to the bottom of its 2-year range, which is as low as what? I don't remember. Let's see, way back here. Let me zoom out. Let's get a price on it. Yeah, so right here, so that would be 1,300 and change. So breaking 3370 should send it to the bottom of that range at least, but it may be more substantial bear market. There is a minor support level, which I have a hard time supporting, but I'll watch it anyway, 1860 or 1880. I don't consider it reliable, but I'll watch it anyway. Yeah, so this is at a key point. Bitcoin is coming into a key point, higher level support level. It definitely has more support level down below, again, 75,500, but this one is really on the first edge right now. And you can look at it 2 sides. You can say, okay, this area, it's about to break because it's pressing support, but this is also a cheap long here. I'm not suggesting taking a long. Like I said, I am not, but it's a cheap long, and the risk is really low here at 3370. You may want to give a little bit more room than that on your stop if you take it, but it's cheap risk. Again, I'm not joining you in that trade, but you know, you might consider it if you're really looking for longs right now. And you're more bullish than I am, and I won't fault you for that. So that's it. So that's where we're at. It's pretty interesting. Key point in the crypto market. I should also add that I have seen major decay in the quality of altcoin charts across the board, enough to flatten most of my positions. Again, I need to call out, I need to go through all my details, all those sort of stragglers I have in wallets and stuff like that, and see if there's anything else I want to sell, but I just don't see a lot of quality. Could alt season happen in this late stage? Oh, for sure, but I don't see the setups for it right now. Doesn't look good. Solana is even struggling too. It's one of the ones I'm most bullish, and I think that one may miss my $400 target that I had on it, but let's see. Yeah, so this is a very key point all around in this market right now. Let's see what I'm going to go through questions. All you guys jumped in there to say, let's see, I sold all my IBIT. I remember we were talking about that. I sold all my IBIT, the bulk, on Wednesday, the rest of Thursday. Well, you missed a pretty good liquidation then. Good job missing the liquidation. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, I think you were talking about this last time, right? I think I recall. So cool. I'm a member, by the way. Okay, cool. So you saw my warnings, and we had to support where the liquidation happened. This is an interesting point I want to make about the liquidation point. Yes, liquidation is a structural fact of the crypto market, structural fact of all markets, but you get a 24/7 market that can run thin, and you get people leveraged up on the long. It's been brought up like, okay, this is a mechanical failure of the market. It's not a failure of the bear market. The problem is this is exactly what happens at tops. Is people don't, Elliott Wave is all about indicating sentiments, and people don't get levered up when sentiment's not overly bullish, right? This is how markets top, in that people are all getting in, and when they don't have enough cash, then they put on the leverage so they can get more long, and then they get blown out and they get decapitated, like basically financially. A lot of people have been decapitated, so they can't even operate in the market. A bunch of money that would be operating in the crypto market now is blown up, right? So this is, I'm not saying the bear market, the bull market is over, but this is the process. We are in a transition zone. I've called that out over the last couple months. We're in a transition zone right now. I don't know when we can call it what date or whatever, but we're in that transition zone. So just be careful out there, right? Don't leverage up. Don't be these degens. The other thing that happened too, it's important, is I was calling out a support level with subscribers over the last couple of weeks, and that point was 116,400. Anyone want to correct me, go ahead. That's what I remember, and that is right. Look on the chart. That's where the liquidation began. So it's very interesting that support level was so key, and I've often seen that 95% of the time when we had a liquidation, it happened around some near key Elliott Wave support. It's so eerie that it happens that way. The other big one I remember was COVID-19. We were watching the support level. I know some of you guys that are on there remember, and after it popped, it was a big slide, right? And I hate, what's scary for me is because knowing that fact, I still don't like having my stops sit on exchange unless I'm in futures. So I remember that COVID crash. I had to operate quickly, getting my orders in, because I don't hold them on exchange. Not that I don't trust my levels, I just don't trust exchanges and all the slippage we see. It's gotten better, but it's still pretty bad. Now when I'm in futures, it's a different matter. I always put the stop on exchange. So Elliott Wave actually showed us where it was going to occur. I didn't know it was going to be a liquidation. I knew it was going to be bad if it broke, but I didn't know it was going to be liquidation, but it turned out to be the case. You guys can check it out. I mean, look at the chart. That's where the volume started, or just a little bit below that. So that's very interesting. It's almost eerie to me. Self-stopping Coinbase perps 105,740. Thank you. Yes, I have a. It's still there. I still have a sell stop at Coinbase perps 105,740, and I have a stop. The stop is roughly around the weekend high, or a little bit higher. I have to double check. Because every trade has a stop. I always reserve the right to change my mind, and I lose a good deal of trades. But this has been a great trading week. Let's see, what's your definition of sustained below 98K, 2 daily closes? I operate different ways on this. I'm reading action. Like if in the stock market, it's really easy. We have a defined time of close, right? So it's like there's a difference between crypto close. We have this arbitrary UTC 0 close, right? Well, why does that matter, right? It's just a rotational clock. But and you have a stock market, you have an hour of close, and the big money goes home, right? So that is key point of business. The big money people they have two main hours they trade: the first hour and the last hour, and they close the business, they get their orders in, they do a little auction at the end, done, right? So when I'm talking stock market staying below, I don't like a daily close below. It matters. When you have crypto, it's not so easily, and so what I tend to judge is that I see bearish consolidation underneath the support level, or if I'm short, bullish consolidation above it. And I'm just saying sideways movement that stays constrained by that level. Every once in a while that happens, and I'm wrong. Most of the time it's not. So again, when there's no perfect strategy that works all the time, right? You guys should know this by now, but most of my trade plan, most of my process and all of this is over time. I have a positive expectancy, right? It works, most of the time, and that's how I use it in crypto. So I look at bearish action, but there's also, I mean, there's sometimes you just tell like the asylum is running, you know, the insane asylum is running from the market, barreling out, pressing their orders, taking the bid if they're selling, you know, and it's like, okay, you just got to get out. So there's some times where the volume is too aggressive. So it's that whole thing is murky. The problem is, you know, supports never hold on a dime. Like I shouldn't say never. I've seen it plenty of times, but it's just there are more regions than they are hard levels. But you know, once you sustain below level, you know, without, you know, 95% of the time doesn't come back the levels that I use. Let's see, from my point of view, which is not technical, but I feel is important. I think the narrative has changed. What started off as a currency, then a store of value, digital gold, etc. Bitcoin clearly isn't a flight to safety the way gold is, and Bitcoin is trading just like a tech AI stock. Maybe it's because increasingly Bitcoin is there's a lot of stuff here. Bitcoin is strong institutional hands, giving a rise to manipulation. Bottom line, yeah, it's hard for me to comment on all of that. I don't, like, you know me, I don't care about the narrative. Like I'm more interested in what people are believing. Like what I care about is the sort of temperature of the narrative. I don't care what the narrative is, whether it's like a store of value, a treasury company's wet dream. Sorry, that's a pretty bad expression, but you know, I don't really care what the narrative is. I really only care what people are saying to themselves. Like, I need to get in this before it's too late. This is the beginning of a bull market, not the end. And all that stuff. You know, when you've been rallying for a couple of years in crypto, and so everyone's saying this is only the beginning, it's like, you know, that's a lot of hopium talking, right? I only care about like what the temperature is. I don't really care about the what of the you know, and I'm listening to podcasts and they're like, you know, and generally this week I heard people, you know, okay, liquidations are bullish. Yeah, they're bullish in bull markets and they're bearish in bear markets. Like they're, you know, it's like, it's context, and we're in a transition time. So I am standing before you. I don't know whether this was a liquidation in a bull market or a bear market, because we're really in an inflection. And I'm happy to not know. Right. And so anyway, so that's the way I take narratives. I mean, I don't need to like pick apart the merits of the narrative. It doesn't really matter to me. It's really like, you know, when people start telling themselves that this thing will never end is when it ends, right? The AI thing is ripe for it, right? Like we've seen some crazy stock market action. I looked at the valuation of some of the, like OpenAI and Anthropic are the two largest valuations in the private market. No, sorry, first and third, and SpaceX is number 2. On at least the stated valuations in the private market. Yahoo Finance has a great chart for that. You can take a look at it. And oh man, I forget what it's worth. It's insane, right? And it doesn't make money. You know, and I'm not saying a company that doesn't make money shouldn't have a good valuation. It's just we're reaching insane levels. Because you know, you go, Amazon had a ridiculous valuation when it was not making money, and you know, we know where that went. So I'm not trying to poo-poo that, but it's getting crazy out there. Is it over? I can't say that it is. I can't say the stock market stopped or anything like that. Just be careful. You know, it's okay to say that like this is a risk area, time to be careful, right? Like yeah, no. And let's see, still holding Brett. Nope, Brett broke my level. I'm out. I posted that. I assume you're not a member because I posted that a couple weeks ago in our weekly reports. I'm not in it. It broke. I mean, I gave my levels, it broke. Just not holding up. Broke most. Actually, I don't know if it broke the level, but that one kept breaking 1-2 setups that were showing up. Looks like a good setup, breaks. Looks like a good setup, breaks. That's enough for me. Like that's unfortunately what I've seen across. I've seen across the altcoin market. Just good setups break, right? You know, again, I call out good setups because it's not a guarantee that they work. It's just I know where the risk zone is, and it works. I know where the reward is. That's enough for me to take it. But when it keeps breaking, it's a no-go, and that's what we've seen across the altcoin market. You made money on yours is IBIT talking. Yeah, awesome. So your primary account, as we go to 140s, as long as we hold. I don't think holding a primary account right now is smart. Right? I mean, Like again, like everyone wants to know what I think, because what if I tell you that's a primary account, what are you going to do? You're going to go all in at 98K and we're going to go to 140. But what if we fail, right? And that's key right now. And in fact, when I look at my chart, it projects a little bit below 98. Is that going to be a break? Am I going to see contraction in the wave pattern where it holds support? I don't know yet. So I'm saying this. So I'm saying, let's see what happens at 98. That's what I'm saying. Let's watch it. Like, if I give you a level out there, can you guys stop, wait, listen, watch? Or do you feel like you have to take action? The latter is really bad idea right now. Like, I mean, you can nibble. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can nibble, but like, it's funny to me how rash people are about trading, because like, I gotta make money now. What about observation? What about mindfulness in trading, like you show in other parts of your life? That's what I'm saying. Observe the level, watch it. Does the market reverse? Do you know where to put the stop? That's what you need to find out before we talk about primary account right now. Again, I don't even like the language about primary versus alt. Avi uses it. Again, I'm not criticizing, I'm just saying I don't like it, because I've seen subscribers only trade my primary. And if you watch me trade, I often trade my alternate. Why would I trade my alternate? Because it gave better risk reward for that moment, right? And so that's why I hate the question, because I hate the action I expect someone to take after they ask me that question. Again, this is not meant to be critical of Avi, because it's another way of being an analyst, but I've just seen so much bad behavior from subscribers. And I'm not trying to pick on subscribers. I'm saying there's a lot of people I deal with, who subscribe up and they want to make money super fast. They're very rash. They're not thoughtful, and they're not experienced. And so I'm trying to hold hands towards, nirvana, slowly trying to push, thoughtful actions and how you treat support and resistance in your trading. And again, remember guys, I was an ElliottWaveTrader member in 2015. I blew up twice as a member because Avi was so damn good calling the SPX that I over levered. So I'm talking from someone from experience too, who had to learn his own set of mindfulness. What chart are you intending to show? I'm seeing Ether on the screen. Yeah, I'm still on Ether. I'm just gabbing. Yeah, still got Ether up. I'm beyond talking about the charts. If you want to look at if you want to stare while I'm gabbing at the Bitcoin chart, we can do that. I'm just answering questions. I wasn't intending to say any more about the first two charts, and then I'm jumping into the other ones. But so let's see. You guys have a lot of questions. So let me try to speed us up a bit. The thing is, if I'm trading like a tech stock and we have a stock market crash, we assume better than even odds that Bitcoin will go down too. Oh man, David, if you want to talk about correlation, I can give you a link to my correlation article so that we can, because you're opening a can of worms. I don't want to bore everyone right now, but you're a member. We can talk about it on the board over the weekend as I have time. We looked into Saylor's debt instruments on New York's. I've taken a look a little bit. I don't have too much to say about it. Do you think crypto bull market is over? I was pretty clear on that. I'm not answering that question. I was pretty damn clear about what I said. This is an inflection. Yes, I have a right here and now to not have a call. Every analyst you guys follow, do they always have to have a call? That's a warning. All right, so that's what I'm saying. This is a time to observe. You mentioned at the opening you were going to send us 6 charts, 5 of which are shorts. Don't think we've seen all those charts. Nope, you haven't. I'll get to those. Yep, I will get to those. Primary account, it's on your chart, and that's why I asked. Yeah, I know, but okay, Willie, this is my primary account if you really want an answer. But I was very clear about am I trading for 140? Not yet. Okay, so like that's my problem is this is the account, but I need to rebuild the bearish option, and below 98, it needs to be rebuilt by 98 breaking, because there's a good chance 98 does break. And this is then this count is dead. So I mean, just be careful, be careful with just because you see a chart, you got to understand the context. You got to understand what the analyst is saying. Yeah, primary, but primary is a bad word right now, because if you're all in at 98 without observing what the market is doing there, you're going to lose your money. Or there's a good chance of it. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe this bull market has another leg. So this idea of guys, this idea, I have seen more rash people in the last 2 months than I have seen in my 8 years in the seat. Let go of the rashness. You will make money if you are thoughtful and you take action tactically. And again, if you haven't formed strategies, stop, listen, learn. I've seen, I'm just like, I've seen so much rashness, like just quickness to try to make that money in a when the market is teetering. Okay, and I'm serious. It either teeters and then busts upward, or it teeters and gives out. I don't know what right now. Okay, but I do know the level where I'm going to be watching, and that's all I'm saying. All right. So anyway, slow down. All right. Okay. So let's talk about some other charts. And I'm sorry to be lecturing, but like this has been the week. I've taken, I mean, I'm gonna, even from my subscribers, I took it on the chin when we were up at 107 from a few people, and what happened, right? Anyway, it's just a lot of folks need to like actually need to do work on themselves and go, what's my emotional state? When you wake up in the morning, before you get on the screen, what is your emotional state? Take an inventory. All right, so this is the only long I've got right now and actionable. And again, when I say actionable, don't get, think about what you're doing, think about your risk side. So I've been long this one forever. So I don't want to ever think when I get out at below 31, 36, okay, I'm gonna at least cut my position. 31, 36 is not a pump and dump. This is a good spot actually to add. And on Monday morning, I might add, I haven't decided yet. We can, and the target here is 43, and we're sitting here, I mean, I don't know where we'll open on Monday, but 34, 31, 36, that's $3 risk and about $9 of gain. So it's 3-to-1 risk to reward right here and now. So it would be good at, and probably what I'm gonna do is take it with an option position, a call position. But we break 31, 36, this one breaks, at least the short term. So so just, yeah, very good opportunity to do an ad. I don't think there's not a lot in the stock market that I like right now. A lot of things are overextended, but this one is extended and at the same time came down to support level. Very nice flat. Will it work? Again, no guarantees. I mean, you can see a bit of oversoldness there on the MACD. I hate MACD, but I still have it on my charts these days. I'm gonna knock my MACD off because I never use it anymore. But anyway, so that's an opportunity. Again, 31, 36 is the risk level. The target is 43, 13 if you want some sense out of it, but 43 to round. Again, just again warning, supports are meant to be broken, so it's just a key point to measure risk. And targets are also missed too, but there's a good chance. And extension on that would be 46, although I wouldn't be trading for 46 if I was in the trade, again, with options. That's probably the way I'm gonna take it, since I'm pretty stacked with some shares right now at this point in time. All right, and that's that one. And then MSTR, yeah, pretty bearish action of late. If you guys recall, last year in all the public webinars, I said, this is possibly our long-term top, but let's see how it goes over the next year. I said that last year, and right now that has still held. Do we have a chance at another high? Well, to get another high, we're gonna have to hold 93. And right now I think it's pretty likely that we at least challenge it. So 93 can get us a high over 1,000, but I warned back here that we had an extended fifth and we had some crazy sentiment. And so my intuition said, even though it looked like the count could get another extension to 1,000, my intuition was at the time that this may have been a long-term top. I don't know yet. It's gonna have to break 93 to confirm. But it's certainly still warning. The market has been downtrending since, breaking setups. This one has been a good example of looking like it was setting up long and then breaking, and recently we had another break. Right now, I don't see any long setup on this chart at all. From a micro perspective, we just have lower lows moving into retracing this was larger potential setup, but never nice looking, and that one is largely broken. So what I'm doing, I have not taken a short position in MSTR. I have no involvement in it, but what I'm watching now is for a nice wave 2, so a little bit rally. Honestly, this is a bit hard to read in structure, but it does look like 5 down. So this is my preference, that it starts from this point. I may be wrong and it keeps going lower. Wherever it finds a more solid bottom, retrace 786 and start pulling in. 382 is somewhere around 300. So between 300 and 344, if this low holds, is where I'm going to put on. Now, my thing, because we're in a transitionary stage, my game has been to put on put options with shares long to hedge and scalp. So I have a mixed position. It's I'm going to go over Coinbase. I re-entered that way. That does well for me in transitions. It gives me money. You know, the Coinbase, even though the coin position went against me, I got out with the nominals like 5% profit or something like that. Really small. That's why I do it. When we start getting a massively bear market and everything is trending down and nothing can rally, then I'll have a good time. As long as the implied volatility is reasonable, I'll have a good time being in put options without scalping shares, which ultimately does takes money away if the position just simply pukes. So anyway, that's what I'm watching for. Again, enter at 290. Let's see, 300. Sorry, I got this on the wrong fib. My fib is missing. Around 300 to 344. Enter in this zone. Can scale in across that zone. On the short side, you can trade the leverage ETFs. I don't know what the price will be in those. Those things distort Elliott wave patterns. I don't generally trade them myself. I prefer put options, so I don't know what price you would trade at, but you can always watch the underlying and make a decision there. Again, not a recommendation, simply an opportunity I see that you can look into and decide whether it's good for you. Coinbase is the other one. This one, I am in puts again with some shares to scalp. I would like to add to the position around 350 to 375. This one has been tricky. I thought that we topped in B here. Of course, we went right back up. I took off a position here, again, nominally profitable because I had shares to stack it, to hedge it. But the same position, I'm already in it, but I want to make it bigger if we get a trade back up to 375, especially 350 I'll look at. The target is roughly 215. And I put out an article, I think I put an article on this setup actually. I don't know if ElliottWaveTrader's Twitter account tweeted it out. I will tweet it out later today. Subscribers got it yesterday. I will tweet it out. It doesn't say much more than I just already said. So looking at that, so that's on the stock side. So 1 long, 2 shorts. On the coin side, you know, all of my short positions for the long term, which I've been taking and building, are all paying me money right now. Avalanche is one. Oh, I want to say something about Bitcoin RSI, which I'll look at. I'll swing over to that before we end this webinar. Avalanche is one of them. Let's zoom out on it. I got into this position a while ago. No, not a while ago. When this C broke down back into this range. That was just before liquidation, so that one is very nice in profit. The ultimate target is 35 cents. We'll see if it really wants to move down. A lot of times markets in I call these dumpster fires. They just in downtrends. They don't always go to the full impulse. The Eagle C is 184, so it might stop there, but still, it's still a pretty good short up here. I'm totally wrong if it sustains over 40. But it can still do this red C wave and still be a short, but I wouldn't want to be in it over 40. Now that I'm in profit, I need to put a tighter guard on that because there's no reason to give that money back. So there's that one. Not a great entry here, but if you know, sell the rip, so to speak, is the way I look at it. If you wanted a tight stop, you can always use this one at 35. Because that would breaking over 35 will probably bring a break of 40 as well. All right. And then Cardano, I mean, I know there's some Cardano fan people out there. I always get trolled by Cardano people. But yeah, I am short currently. And question is where to add. So what I like is finishing a 5th wave here and getting this 2. I don't know where that's going to end up right now. It looks like it's around 70 cents, but I'll add to it there. Again, this would be confirmation. I probably will take some off as a profit there too. And then add into the 2, so I may do that as well. Do a little trade around the position. And then Bitcoin Cash is working. Again, I'm nominally short. I want to get larger. I'm going to trade all of these pullbacks. So where is 4 going to show up as a question? It looks like roughly around 500. I'll add to this position, and I'll be in and out. You know, I want to try to get my position to a very low cost in net, so I want to trade around it as it goes through these waves. Ultimately, again, if we go into a large bear market, this one looks really bad. Basically, you know, some of these like Cardano and I can't say that Bitcoin Cash didn't participate in the bull market, but it wasn't really strong. You know, you look at Avalanche, it was sideways the entire bull market. You look at ADA, basically went nowhere the entire bull market. So those are all the ones that I target as shorts because like they can easily. We've seen, you know, we've seen the miners, especially with AI Revolution, all of them converted to miners. Those were examples of ranging charts that did take off. That happens, right? Still, some of them are still mired. You know, I still look at Riot inside the range. That can be debated. Marathon definitely. BT definitely inside its range. You know, all of these can break out of the range, but when they start to go the other side, you spend an entire bull market in a range, and then you start coming out the other side, the bottom side. Well, that's a really great opportunity to short, in my view. And these are the ones basically I'm targeting. I mean, AVAX, ADA, BCH. I mean, other ones I'm not reviewing today. DOT, I'm short as well. It basically did not participate in the bull market. It was basically a darling of 2021 that has failed in this latest bull market. And this is the cycle that crypto goes on. So if you are in a crypto fan club for a certain coin and you're holding it out and you're watching it downtrend, you're the chump. You're the one that is going through this cyclical thing. You know, and some come back, like definitely XRP came back mad. Problem is most of them don't, and that's the problem. You're basically putting hopium on that needle in the haystack that's going to come back for the next bull market if it's in a downtrend during the bear market. This is the way crypto works, folks. And that is all of the charts. I am going to get the video up. I've got more questions, so I'll answer those as well. Get the video up. I will get the video out to Twitter. It'll be a little slower on that side. And then I will get the charts up for subscribers. And at the same time, I will happily get those requests for subscribers also up as well that I did not cover in the webinar, because again, this was a public webinar. All right, let's see, great approach and explanation of being in an inflection point. Do I understand that Bitcoin, view correctly, that if we break 98K, then you re-short or at least expect? Okay, so this is important tactically for me. I don't short in the hole. I want to short pullbacks in downtrends. So to me, so if we go, we break 98, and the other thing is, Bitcoin has this. Okay, I hate traditional technicals like RSI, MACD, and all that. I long divorced myself from them. However, Bitcoin has this way of putting nice rallies even in bear markets when when Bitcoin hits below 30 RSI. So I generally buy when Bitcoin breaks over 30 SI, and as soon as I can get a stop under it, I get a stop under it, and most of the time the trades work. Doesn't mean you get new highs out of it and all that. So I will be a buyer. I think so. There's a predictor indicator, and I think it's something like at 95. RSI will go below 30. So I'll do a little bit of nibbling, triangling, you know, like basically scaling in, kind of the martingale type approach to positioning. As the trade is a loser, I'll just add, but I'll do so with no leverage, and I will do so with only part of my cash, and then get a stop under it ASAP, because under 30 RSI here and now, and you can see how much RSI has decayed over the last, you know, many months. That may be actually an indication that we are in a bear market, another early one. However, so to answer your question, I don't short in the hole when we're oversold. I want to actually be on the opposite. But as we get a corrective rally afterwards, then I'll look at the character of it, and then if it looks shortable, definitely will. I tend to, in this big scale that we're talking about, I don't know exactly how it would play out, but I tend to first, I'm going to draw some arrows on it. I tend to first, where's my arrows? Forget it. We get it. So you get a rally. Is the rally corrective or impulsive? Does it look like a strong reversal? Do we get fair value gaps on the underside, meaning they're bullish, all of that, or do we get them, you know, basically none of that, and we get, you know, a lot of overlap? Okay, now wait for the rejection out of that rally, then I will short. So I basically want to see the market relieve the oversold situation before, so I'm not shorting the lows, right? It's like day trading. You know, I do range breakout trades intraday. Like I trade the Russell futures a lot. I do often intraday breakouts of, say, that 1 hour into market does work. But the problem is when it doesn't work, you're on the low side of the trade and you just have giant risk, right? So the only reason I would short down here at 98, I'd have to have some very tight risk on. So anyway, that's a long way to answer your question to say no, but that will be a signal to look for a short when the market comes back. All right, let's see, Georgia or Ole Miss today. I assume that's college football. I don't know. It's not me, man. I don't even, like, I grew up as a 49er fan, required by my father and stepfather, but man, I'm a European football guy now because my son played club. So not pro club, but like youth club. And so I became a soccer convert. So that said, I don't watch it all the time. I'm looking forward to World Cup. All right, even though America sucks. All right, take a peek at Marathon and Riot. Nope, I'm not ready to do that. Let's see, what do you think a stop would be for a long at 98? It's indeterminable right now, David. It will be, where do we reverse? Does it reverse at 98? Does it reverse after 98? Is RSI too low? You know, all of that. The long and does it give us a long at all? And again, an answer to me is I long a 1-2 setup, right? Which is an impulsive reversal and the pullback that comes after. Same thing when I talk about the short, right? The market broke support. Okay, don't shorten the hole. Wait for it to come back. Start shorting. It's the same thing here. If we respond to 98 support. And you know, once it comes off a low, then at the worst case, we have a low. But you know, stops at lows are pretty bad, right? Because they get hunted. So a lot of times I want to see a mid, like sort of a middle of the rally. There's some kind of support level that forms, whether it be the fib for the 1-2 or a fair value gap. And on this scale, I'm looking at 2-hour and 4-hour fair value gaps. And the only reason I would use that is if it turns into a diagonal. It's not impulsive, then the 1-2 is unreliable, but maybe the diagonal will play out. So I can't tell you right now down here, I mean up here, David, we have to get there. We got to form the reversal. At the worst case, whatever the low that forms, that's our stop, right? That's the worst case, but I hope to have something better than that because stops at lows do get hunted. They tend to, right? They're targets. They're targets also because they create liquidations because you got everyone piling in at that level. So that's the worst case, but if we can find a better stop, we'll do it. All right. Any other questions? All right. Okay, so subscribers know the game plan today. I have to leave the house in like 40 minutes, but I have time to get some of the charts up, so I'll do that, and the rest will come when I get back later today. If you joined us, you know where to find me. I can do what I can on Twitter if there are questions. I try not to hang out there much anymore. But yeah, no, ask me any questions. I'll do my best to answer it. The video will come up as well. And you guys all have a great trading week. Talk to you guys later.